Oh boy, welcome. Here we are. Welcome to another Lonely Friday night. Welcome to Sam Roberts. Now, the loneliest show on all of the internet. There is no lonelier show. Sam Roberts now. I hope you're all doing great. Hope you're all fantastic. And there's been a lot of questions out there. On this Lonely Friday night, people have been waiting to answer. A lot of rumors going crazy. Was he on the boat? Was Hot Dog one of the billionaires on the submersible? There's only one way to find out. Well, oh, wrong thing. There's only one way to find out. There he is. He survived. He made it.
The suspense was killing it.
Hot Dog is here. Hot Dog is here. Welcome. Woo! Woo! Oh, I was so worried, Hot Dog. I thought you might, but you're here. Welcome. Hope you're doing well. You look
didn't
great.
hear from me all week, but
No.
I was just taking a couple naps here and there.
That's what it was. It was during the day, unfortunately. Well, of course, this has been the story. I mean, there every now and then we just get a news story that dominates for the entire week. No matter who you were, no matter where you went, everybody had something to say about the submersible that went all the way down to the bottom of the ocean to see the Titanic firsthand. Now, of course, you know the rules of Sam Roberts Now. Feel free to super chat in if you're watching live. If not, leave a comment, hit the like button, hit subscribe, do the whole thing. Ocean Gate, the Titan, goes down under the water to see the Titanic, and word started spreading that there was that this mission had happened, and that only a few hours, actually an hour and 45 minutes technically, into the mission, they'd lost communication with the vessel. The submersible had lost communication with HQ. Now, the way this works is it's attached to some other stuff, and it slowly goes down. I mean, the Titanic is very, very deep in this ocean. It's all the way at the bottom. Okay, I seen this graphic that they made, that they put the Empire State Building upside down, like as tall as you are, if you're standing on the tippy top of the Empire State Building, it's like 10 of those, all the way going down. I think it takes about 4 hours to get all the way down there. It was on this tourist mission is what it was. It wasn't an exploratory mission. We've been down there before, but it was a tourist mission. Not you and I necessarily, Hot Dog. You once pitched it to me. You said, Sam, should we go down for the show, see the Titanic? We'll talk about it. I went, Hot Dog, the movie's on Netflix. I saw it. I know what it was.
You can get even lonelier, Sam. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Broadcasting live. Well, apparently it gets very lonely because speculation started to run wild, right? We got word late Sunday and Monday that this vessel, the Titan had lost communication on its way down. Less than halfway down, it lost communication, and people started to immediately speculate where it was. There was a panic that set in. They said they had 4 or 5 days of oxygen in the vessel. You could not open it from the outside. This is one of the panicked theories that were in people's heads. They said, even if this were to somehow get to the top, if they used the joystick, I'll explain, to get it all the way to the top of the water, even then they couldn't get out. They'd be stuck in the vessel, and still, it's not like there's a porthole. They would still only have the oxygen that they have because this thing is sealed shut in such a way and pressurized. Because you have to understand, like, you ever you know how, like, when you go in the deep end of the pool and you go like 8-10 feet down, your ears pop, you know, because all that water's on top of you? Well, imagine that, but 10 Empire State Buildings worth, all on top of you. It's ready to crush you like a bug. So if they make it so you could just open a window, you know, you'd be crushed. They can't do that. So they were saying, even if this thing floats to the top, even if they just lost communication and it floats to the top, they can't get out. They still just have their 4 or 5 days oxygen. So the countdown was
foolproof.
Foolproof. The countdown was on. There was a real morbid nature to a lot of it. A lot of the news channels there were news channels that were actually running countdowns.
No, really?
I swear to God. I saw the graphic. I saw the graphic. I don't remember what news channel it was, but it was like towards the end of the week, because I think Thursday was the day that the countdown to doomsday ended. And they were literally, it was like 5 hours left on the clock. What's going to happen? And I mean, you have to understand, odds are if they're in one piece, they're at the bottom of the ocean, right? So it's like, even if they're like, good news, we found them. Bad news, it takes 4 hours for them to get there. And since they couldn't get there without losing communication, fucked if I'm going. I'm not going down there. So yeah, I mean, they got 2 hours left on the clock, but we're not catching them. So, I mean, at a point.
It was the timely nature of this story that really hooked everybody.
You're right. And
You
people
had the countdown.
And I thought people wanted a happy ending at first. I was like, oh, I bet people want a happy ending. But like, something happens, right? When it's the very wealthy, because as I said, this is a tourist mission, okay? There were 5 people on board. One was the CEO of Ocean Gate, and then there were 4 guests, which again, the CEO of Ocean Gate gets on, and you're probably going, what can go wrong? The CEO's here. I think we'll be fine. The others paid $250,000 a ticket to get on. 4 passengers, $1 million gate. Not too shabby. But what happens when rich people are in peril is the internet goes, they deserve it. And you go, I mean, I don't know anything about these people. And the internet goes, they're rich. They're
It doesn't
scum.
matter,
It
Sam.
doesn't matter.
You don't need to know them.
No, they go, what kind of idiot goes down to see the Titanic? And I'm going, like, James Cameron's seen it 35 times. Like, they've done hundreds of missions down to the Titanic. The first mission down, like the first time they saw the Titanic, 1985. They've been going down there since 1985. The idea of people who know what they're doing going to the bottom of the ocean and checking out the Titanic is not like this unfathomable thing. James Cameron.
It's a mixture. It's a mixture of a lot of things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a mixture.
It's a mixture. It's not just how can you go down there. It's how can you go down there and get on that? How can you go down there and get on that and spend $250,000 a pop?
Yeah, they stopped having sympathy for the people because they spent $250,000 a ticket, and one of them brought their son, so that's $500,000 right there, $500,000. We're all thinking, what would I do with $500,000? It wouldn't be get on this can of beans and try to see this stupid boat out of a porthole window. But it didn't help at all that footage started to come out of the CEO bragging about this boat. And you
can use these off-the-shelf components.
You can use these off-the-shelf components. A lot of people think you need these scientific, great technological things. No, you just go to Best Buy and get some shit on sale. You're like, that's the last thing. If everything's successful, you go, oh, what an amazing thing this is. But when everything fails, it's like, yeah, that's why you buy the good stuff. It's like when your dad is like, no, it says the expiration date on the milk, but that's just so you buy more. It's fine for another week after that. It's totally fine. And that's all good. That's all good until you're vomiting in the toilet. Then you're cursing your father for trying to save money on a gallon of milk.
Right. All those Titanic expeditions are all well and good, but if any of them went wrong, you would have gotten a lot of pushback.
It's true, because ultimately, the fuck you want to see the Titanic for? I understand that people have done it successfully, right? And we should have sympathy for the people, but also, what do you want to see the Titanic for? Like, for what? I've seen it. I saw it. The old lady, what are you looking for, her necklace? The eye of the sea or whatever she had? No, there's nothing to see down there. It's the same shit since 1985. Nothing's changed. This is the guy, by the way, showing off.
These from Camper World.
Camping World. I got these from Camping World. Cool, man.
Very reassuring.
Yeah, well, you think there was like one moment right before they realized it was over where they were like, Camping World? Camping World. You thought that was a good idea?
Stop wasting your breath. Come on.
I'm gonna tell you.
Me later.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. If they had found this thing intact, and they had been able to get everybody out, it would have been 4 healthy people coming out of this thing, and one guy with just bruised, broken bones, just the shit kicked out of him. Like they were like, what happened? They'd be like, you ever see that show Yellow Jackets? Yeah, I mean, that's about these girls that go crazy over the course of many, many months in the woods. You were only down there for 3-4 days. Hey, where's the remote? You better, it's up his ass. We're just going to be honest. We shoved it up his ass. I'm going to be honest with you. The remote, we did. It was crazy down there. It was, you have to understand. Who knows what happened? It was nuts. They go,
anything could have happened. I think he sat on it by mistake.
Yeah, I don't know. And they go, he couldn't have sat on it. How do you know? Because you guys put it up horizontal. Like, I don't even know how that could have happened.
We run the whole thing with this game controller.
This guy's laughing at him. He's like, I know it sounds funny, but one day we'll kill 4 people. They go, dude, I mean, this is how bad this is. Number one, obviously, you know, Ocean Gate is in a lot of trouble. But they've even screwed it up. Logitech is in trouble. Logitech stock is down. Have you seen the Amazon reviews for this remote? It's terrible. All they wanted to do was make an affordable alternative to your standard video game remote, and this guy goes and screws it up for everybody. And then just when
it was on sale.
I know it was on sale. You see these memes going everywhere?
Yeah.
Titanic's ghost excited for some new company.
I have indulged in 1 or 2 memes during this entire crisis.
Dancing Bill Hader dancing over the dead Titanic with different captions has been a huge thing. Titanic's ghosts excited for some new company. Well, they realized that, and this was suspicious to me right away, right? That they go, so Thursday was when the cutoff date was for the oxygen. And then it's when the countdown ran out. And then within hours, like the same day, they were like, oh, yeah, also we found the debris. It imploded. You're like, so you just coincidentally found out that it imploded right after we spent 5 days counting down oxygen. But then right after the countdown was up, then you found the debris and realized it was an implosion.
We needed a big finale, Sam.
I mean, it felt very theatrical to me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, by the way, here's what we're definitely getting. We're definitely getting at least 2, if not 3 docuseries. You know, what's going on over there, Hot Dog?
My TV just started playing something out of nowhere.
Oh, okay. I saw all the lights, and I got worried about you for a second. I was like, uh-oh, Hot Dog's ready to implode. Hot Dog's ready for a catastrophic implosion. What are you watching there? Some porn? Look like porn.
Well, no, Sam. I have my TV on a white screen, and then my YouTube started playing ads. So,
yeah,
I didn't know you can get ads for a white screen.
Yeah, of course you can.
Put it done.
Of course you can. It was just Bill Hader dancing. So, yeah, catastrophic implosion. They're saying. And here, you know, we've been trying to figure out what this is like. I found this TikTok that was very, very helpful. I got to mute it because they always put audio, you know, but it said 5 billionaires paid $250,000 for this experience. I paid $1.25 and still get 5 cents back, which, by the way, isn't true. You can't return a crushed can, but whatever. I don't want to take away the fun.
In other countries.
Maybe it's an international vid. But see, this is what happens. You heat up a tin can. This is basically what they're in, right? And then there's the water. Watch how quick this is. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. That's in very poor taste.
And I mean, that's like, but you have to understand, that's a tin can on a stove with a bucket of water. That times 1,000 is what happened. And ultimately, like, you have to understand, it is so much better to be catastrophically imploded than have to sit in that tube at the bottom of the ocean for 5 days waiting to run out of oxygen. With by the way, they didn't have, you know what they had? They had a tiny little box. The thing wasn't built to defecate in.
It looked like a Montone piss jug. I know you guys mentioned it already.
Yes.
That's exactly what it looked like.
There's a piss jug because it's like, who's going to need to drop a deuce? Like, we'll be up before it's dark outside. What do you...
It's 5 hours. What is it?
Well, yeah, what do you need? It's 4 down, 4 up, maybe 4 down at 12 hours. You'll be fine. Shit before you leave. You know what I'm saying? But like, so there's no toilet. It'd be pitch black because it's the bottom of the ocean. It'd be freezing cold. And one of you would have a cheap video game controller in your rectum. It's the worst possible scenario.
You know, the most nightmare situation for me out of being stuck in there for days and days, if I was still alive, would be the fact that you see how small it is. You can't stand up or anything.
No.
You're
sitting.
You're just kind of bent. You know, you're sitting for like 5 days, unless if they were alive, unless they started mounting each other, you know, just so they could like stretch their legs. But that's the worst part for me.
They would have to take turns, you think, piling up on top of each other?
Yeah. On top of the dead guy that, you know, you shoved the remote on.
Yeah, we killed him. We killed the CEO. But luckily they couldn't get you for murder because it's maritime law.
Right.
So,
and who knows what happened?
What country is this? We're down at the bottom of the ocean. You tell me what country this is, okay? I don't think it's Canada anymore. I don't think we're in Nova Scotia. They were saying it's very...
Do you think
Go ahead, please.
Do you think they died before they even got to like an argument about what was going on?
Oh, yeah. I think the way this is described is that, like, they might have heard some creaking and cracking, said, what's that? And then it was over. Like, yeah, I don't think that there was a lot of buildup. And the minute the implosion starts, there's no, like, slow, oh, my ribs are broken. Like, it's done. Like, you're chopped up. They're not going to find anything that looks like this structure. You might hope to find, like, the O somewhere in, like, you know, the Titanic staircase or something like that somewhere. But, you know, it's not. It's done. And I'm pretty sure it was quick.
Did they bother trying to get that thing back up?
They will, except they'll use like robots. Like they have stuff that goes, they have robotic devices that can go down there and stay down there for days. They've made all this stuff. Except it's not, and you know who's pissed? Pissed. This is my favorite thing ever. I don't even like his movies that much. But like James Cameron is doing more press for the fact that this company sucks than he did for Avatar. He is everywhere talking about, I know exactly what went wrong. Those douchebags built a terrible machine. And you're like, oh my God, Ocean Gate has got to be going, no. Whoever's second in command, whoever the guy is, the Dwight Schrute that was like fighting for the CEO position, it's like good news, bad news. You're the CEO. You got a lot on your plate right now, bro. You're responsible for a lot. Because James Cameron is out here telling anyone who will listen that we suck. He goes, James Cameron, I mean, on every level, right? James Cameron is sitting there and he's telling everybody about the odd similarities between this and the actual Titanic in the sense that what makes the Titanic so fascinating. This is what he said. And this guy, CNN, TMZ, everything you can think of, everybody that could never get an interview with James Cameron, he's doing all of them. All of them. Everywhere he can, GMA, local news. He's on every outlet he can find. Immediately. I should have gotten him here tonight. I bet I could have. I want a hot dog instead, though. So he's going, what makes the Titanic so fascinating is that it was such a failure on all levels. Like every system was in place for this thing to be successful, and it was a total colossal failure because of errors. He said, like the captain of the ship, everybody told him, there's icy waters, there's icebergs there. And this idiot decides to just go full steam ahead and he plows into an iceberg. He goes, that's exactly what happened here. And the guys running the ship now are like, oh, why would you say that? Why? We don't need that responsibility. He says that, like, he goes, the materials. He goes, number one, is what he said. He said the ship was never, the vessel was never peer reviewed. The submersible was never peer reviewed and never certified.
Regulation. No
regulations, no certification. So this vessel, by the way, had gone under to see the Titanic before. It had made Yeah, it had made a couple of trips already. And then it also did test trips without passengers. And they go, well, what about that? And James Cameron goes, well, the way it's constructed is that it would slowly start to have problems. Like with each time it goes down, there's little microscopic thing. All you need is a tiny little crack. If there's a tiny little crack, you're done ski. And he was saying that you wouldn't see it the first time. But what would
You can
happen?
kind of tell. You can kind of tell just from the material on there.
That's what he said.
The
The
way-
seams.
yeah.
Yeah.
That looks awful.
He said the material is totally wrong. He said you need a material. You need like an aluminum or something that is all the way around, right? There's no seams. There's no mixing of different materials. You're certainly not going to Camping World. You know, James Cameron's talking because James Cameron's gone deeper than the Titanic. James Cameron went down to the bottom of the Marianas Trench. Rolex made him his own watch so he could get down there. And it would still work. It was a good watch. They sell it now. It's very expensive. But he goes, yeah, when we were making this craft to get down there, this vessel, we spent 3 years just in the computer figuring out how it will work. 3 years before we even touched materials to build it. He goes, once I went down there, I wasn't worried at all about the pressure. His buddy who he works with from the Navy, he's like, yeah, dude, if you take our ships down there, he keeps saying it's safer than driving on I-95. But he said, but this hunk of garbage that this company was using, not the case. He goes,
It was a hunk of shit.
a hunk of shit is what he said. No, that's a paraphrase, but basically, and he goes, I told him, this is no good. He goes, I thought people who were smarter than me must have seen something that I didn't because, by my eye, I was like, this is awful. But he was like, but I was right. And then he goes, wait till you hear this. He goes, I don't even know what this whole rescue mission was about. James Cameron says he's been there 33 times to the Titanic, this James Cameron. He knows. James Cameron.
You get tired? What do you got to go down there 33 times for?
It is weird. Like, you want to go back? All right. Yeah, I guess I'll go back. All right.
The same dark view.
Well, he brings a light.
A little flashy.
He said, you know what James Cameron said? He did the math. James Cameron, this is true. It's not a joke. James Cameron has been down to the Titanic so many times. He has spent more time on the Titanic than the captain of the Titanic did. He's kind of bragging about that. That was a bit of a humble brag, to tell you the truth. But I've never respected this guy more. He goes like this. He goes, I don't know what they were doing with this rescue mission. All this like, oh, we're looking for the ship. He goes, at an hour and 45 minutes, because he's talking about the community, the sub community, the submarine community. He goes, very
passion.
He said it's a small community. He's like, I was on the phone talking to my people right away. I was like, this is great. I wish I've been looking for submarine Twitter. I can't find it, but it sounds awesome. He goes, they said an hour and 45 minutes into descent, they lost comms communication. For the layperson, I'm a little bit more advanced because I've been watching a lot of James Cameron interviews. But
I knew what comms was.
Good for you. Good for you. And most importantly, they also lost tracking. He said the tracking device on these vessels is totally different from the communication device. He goes, the tracking device is in a different part of the submersible, and it's in like a box, like it's like a black box on an airplane. It's built to be indestructible, so that if you lose all power, if there is something terrible that happens, or you're just free falling down in the ocean, or you're drifting away or something like that, the tracking will still work. And so they'll still be able to find you.
Right.
But he said the fact that comms and the tracking instantly went out. He goes, I immediately knew that the boat doesn't exist anymore. Like that immediately. He goes, the only way that happens is if there's an implosion. He goes, I spent days trying to work out any other plausible scenario. He goes, there wasn't any. He said, the only reason I didn't do interviews about it then was because I figured it would come across as me kind of speculating, right? But he goes, yeah, I was on the phone with my bro day one, going like, clearly an implosion, right? And his bro was like, clearly an implosion.
Like the submarine group chat?
Yes. Except they use WhatsApp because they're all over the world.
Yeah. Just throwing like eye roll emojis when they hear about the
Yeah.
campaign to go save these people.
Yes. And I'm like, oh my God, this James Cameron really did it. And so like, yeah, he's everywhere going like, we knew this would happen, and then we knew it did happen. I have no idea why they decided to do it anyway, and then I have no idea why they decided not to tell anybody.
Well, I mean, I'm sure if James Cameron knew, I'm sure all these experts and like the rescue team probably knew too, but you can't just tell the public we're not going to even try to find these people because they're probably most likely dead, but we're not 100% sure. You still got to go through the process, I guess, right?
And then remember, like a couple of days ago, the Navy said they were like, no, we heard banging. And then everybody was like, oh, that's probably them like banging on the inside of the thing. Now they're saying like, yeah, we didn't want to say it at the time, but the bangings, I mean, it sounded like an implosion. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? So what have we been doing all week? Like, what have we been doing? That kid going to Blink-182. What have we been up to all week then?
We've been guilting this poor guy.
Who, James Cameron?
No, the kid. He probably knew already.
He knew. He knew. It's another one that The Simpsons predicted.
Man, they got one for everything.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was going to say what we are getting is, I'm sure we will get a major motion picture version of this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if James Cameron's trying to do it himself. Titanic Part 2. Who would have thought? Dude.
What's the angle, though?
Bro, here's the angle. You don't think this guy right here has wanted to do a Titanic sequel his entire life? It's his favorite movie, obviously. Can you imagine that? He started researching for the Titanic, and he never stopped. He just kept going down the Titanic. What do you need to go down the Titanic for? You're telling stories about the Na'vi. You're doing Avatar now. What are you talking about the Titanic all the time for? You know, he's not worried about this guy. Water. James Cameron should be worried about AI and all this stuff. All this stuff from Terminator is coming true. He doesn't care. He doesn't care anything about Terminator. Nothing about Terminator. Nothing about T2. He could care less about True Lies. He doesn't care about any of it. All he cares about is like Titanic. And now he could do a Titanic sequel? And if he did it, it would be a comedy of errors. It would just be about some bumbling fools who had no business taking a ship down to the Titanic. He's got an axe to grind.
Of man.
Bro, he's got an axe to grind. James Cameron has an axe to grind. And I'm telling you, he's going to finance a film.
Well, it's like, you know, when people make fun or make light of your hobby, this guy obviously takes pride in his hobby, which is going down to the depths of the ocean, and these amateurs just show up.
Yes.
And that's what the rest of the public sees, and he's just not happy about it. He's not having it.
No. We're going to find some weird truths. There's going to be a major motion picture version of this, and there'll be 2 to 3 docuseries on it.
There's already a docuseries coming out this Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be total garbage.
I know.
It's going to be like the 2020 version. No, we need the guy who's like, oh, I was ready to find the submarine and I would blow someone if I could. Yeah. You need people like that in these things. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we're getting that because there is this amazing lesson about humanity in this whole thing. This is the takeaway. This is the amazing lesson about humanity, okay? In 1912, 111 years ago, the Titanic sunk. It went all the way down to the bottom of the ocean. They said it'll never sink. It did.
Unsinkable.
In 2023, you know what the ghosts of the Titanic have found out? We haven't learned a goddamn thing. Not one thing. We didn't take that experience and go, never again. We probably said never again, but we have not learned anything. How did all those people die? They heard the Titanic was at the bottom of the ocean. They want to go see it. What? Can you imagine?
Imagine seeing your great-great-grandson just coming down and then
a miserable... No! Back up! What are you doing? Yeah, no. Or they're just doing the Rick James thing. Come here, because they're looking at the seam starting to break. They know an implosion's about to happen. Dude, I mean, nothing. We haven't learned a thing since 1912. They said, hey, if you're on the water, don't think you're smarter than the elements. There's some things that no matter how, as human beings, we're so convinced that we're the top of the food chain, that we think we have control over everything. But guess what? We're just good on land. And even there, we're not the best, but it's just like most of the time in domesticated areas on land, we're good. But in the sky, we're only okay. In the bottom of the ocean, we're still garbage. And in areas even of surface land that haven't been, made, like the jungle and stuff like that, we're awful. I mean, for God's sake, what about that guy who just was like, oh, I just ride a bike by myself around all these rocks, and he had to cut his own leg off? What are you doing, dude? There's bike paths.
Do you think, knowing all this, would you prefer going up to space or going down to?
I'm not doing either one. They're both so stupid. I mean, look, Derek says here that the U.S. Navy hasn't lost a sub since the 1960s, which is true. But those are experts, right?
And now they're shit.
Like,
they're regulated.
If you, hot dog, went to the Navy and they were like, can I go with you on this mission? They go, absolutely not. Of course you cannot. Like, this is for experts. Like, we spent all this time mastering this. You can't just go on this thing. No. You haven't devoted your life to it. James Cameron devoted his life to it. He made a movie about it. Great movie. Billy Zane was in it. You should see it. But no, I'm not going to space. I'm not going to the jungle. I'm not going to the bottom of the ocean. I don't even want to go to the beach.
But which one are you least afraid of? Space or deep sea? You got to spend 10 hours in one.
Space is better. Deep sea is worse. Deep sea is worse than space, I think. Space is better. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think space is better. Space is like, you realize once you're there that there could be monsters out there, but the deep sea is like, no, they're already here. And so I don't want that, right? Like, I don't want to go to bed. Like, because if there's like what was that J.J. Abrams monster movie?
Cloverfield?
If there's a Cloverfield up in space, that's fine. But if I go to the bottom of the ocean, I see a Cloverfield, I'm like, oh no, it's right here already? You gotta be kidding me. Space is better. Leave the ocean to James Cameron. But this is, what it is. Like, I like
if a movie gets made.
Yeah.
If a movie gets made,
yeah.
I don't think it'll focus so much on the 10 hours or whatever the fuck it was. It'll focus on every failing along the way that led to that.
That's what it'll be. It'll be all the failures. It'll be the cover-ups. It'll be the news coverage of it. It'll be whatever it was that swept everything aftermath for the last week. Yeah, the people on board will be like a side thought. They'll probably, at least one of them will be played by Bill Hader doing this.
I think the reason a lot of people take, maybe not glee, but like they take this story like lightly, is like how you said, people don't learn. It's a lesson that people are still stupid, even 110 years later.
Yeah, they won't. They won't learn. They won't learn.
And it's just like it also becomes, like you mentioned, the billionaire stuff before, where it kind of tells you that you could have all the money in the world and still be an idiot. Because this was an idiot move.
It was an idiot. And you're not going down with James Cameron and a naval officer. You're going down with a CEO who's got a video game controller.
Once you see that, you're getting the fuck out of there.
100%. I'm like, where's my $250K going?
Yeah.
It's a Logitech.
So it's like, okay, these billionaires, they're a little bit kind of like
it's not even a PS5 controller. It's a Logitech off-brand thing.
No. And I don't care that you say, I've seen a lot of comments saying like, well, the military uses Xbox remotes. I trust the military a little bit more.
100%.
I understand that there's inputs that, at the end of the day, it's just kind of, you're pressing a button to do this, whatever.
But it's not a
just the
guy.
optics
It's
of
not
it.
just a guy.
Right.
It's like this is
It's
just a guy who's like, wouldn't it be great to see the Titanic? Give me $250. I'll take you.
And he's making light of it. And it's like, this is how we maneuver it.
Listen, it's like when you get a cab, right? When you get a yellow cab to go somewhere, that's one thing. You could trust that. When a guy just pulls up to you and says, where are you going? Now you're on your own, right? Now it's like you might get a better rate. You're not going to have to wait for a yellow cab, but you don't have any
if something
protection.
happens.
Yeah. You jumped in that weird car.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bill Hader, by the way, just as Barry leaves. And then, I thought the greatest battle we'd see was James Cameron versus Ocean Gate.
Mm-hmm.
Then I saw this is happening. This shit is going down.
Oh, yeah.
This is happening. Have you heard about this? This is going down.
Hell yes.
Mark Zuckerberg versus Elon Musk in the cage, baby. Let's go. I'm there.
Dana said it's happening.
Dana said
it's happening.
Dana is very bullish on it. Very bullish. So the way this all went down was, I guess Elon. So, there's a little bit of tensions here, right? Like, Zucks is coming out with, what's their Threads, Facebook Threads. Threads is coming out, and they say it's going to be a competitor to Twitter, And they said it's because there is an outcry for users who want a Twitter alternative that's actually like run by sane people, something like that. And Elon was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't realize. Oh, we're getting personal now. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't know." Right. So then, whatever. Elon said something about Zucks, right? And then somebody tweeted to Elon, "Watch out. You seen his video? He does Brazilian jiu-jitsu." And I think they're kind of making fun of him because he did. There was that video that came out that kind of secretly, Mark Zuckerberg did make a big deal out of it, but he's been training Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a long time. And
I think he's a black belt.
Yeah, he's a black belt. And a few months ago, he entered a tournament. And he did pretty well. I don't know if he won the tournament, but he did well enough that people were like, okay, he actually has learned the art of Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
See, Zuck here on Instagram said, competed in my first jiu-jitsu tournament and won some medals.
See?
So he did good enough.
And it was the first time the medal that he won wasn't for the world's biggest dork. It was actually, I don't want anything. I don't want, no beef, no beef, no beef, no beef.
It's kind of for you.
No beef. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that. No beef. So then the guy, they tweet Elon going like, watch out, he does Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And then Elon tweets something to the effect of, I'll take him on in the cage anytime. And it's like, oh, okay. And then Zucks, he goes on Instagram Live because he's not going to tweet. Instagram is his platform, right? Elon tweets, Zucks IGs. And Zucks goes on his Instagram stories and says, name the date or the location or whatever. He goes, I'm in.
And then he called him the P word.
Did he say that P-U-S-S-Y?
I wish.
It was implied.
Name the date.
It was implied. It was implied. You're right. You're right. And so, yeah, he said, name the date. Name the date. And then Elon said, in Las Vegas in the cage. And it was like, okay, this is on like Donkey Kong. So then we go like, oh, is this just like, two billionaires just talking their ish? Apparently, I was listening to these interviews. Dana White was doing press today. And he said Zuckerberg called him. As Dana said, Zuckerberg called him and said, yo, DW, is this fool Elon serious?
So what's up with your mans?
What's up with your man Elon's? What's up with your man's Elon's? And Dana was like, let me find out. Hold up. Let me find out. And then
huge grin.
Oh.
So he's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna text
And
him
he
real quick.
hangs up on Zucks and he calls Elon. He's like, Elon, what's good? What's good, Elon? What's good? I just got off the phone with Zuckerberg. What's good? And,
Mark's talking shit.
and then Elon goes, what's good though? Then what's good? And Dana is being closed mouth about it, but he said he spent about an hour and a half on the phone with Zuckerberg and Elon, not at the same time, obviously, one after the other. And he said they're both very serious about it. He said they both said that they would do it. And he said that they both are aware of how much money this could bring in for charities, for whatever. He said, that in his opinion, he said, not an opinion, the highest grossing fight of all time was, what was it? Conor versus Mayweather, right? So
Let me see.
I think it was Conor versus Mayweather, and Dana said that he believes this could triple that. He said there isn't a person that exists that doesn't want to see this fight. That's not a person. And I was like, Dana's right on that. Now, Zucks is 5'7".
Mayweather Pacquiao was the first.
Okay, Mayweather Pacquiao.
Then Mayweather.
Okay, but so he still says this will triple that. Now, this also, it doesn't seem like would be a boxing match. This would be a cage fight.
Even better.
He says that Elon says, because Elon's not documented with any martial arts, but Elon said that he does know martial arts and that he's gotten into a lot of fights and grown up in South Africa.
The mean streets.
Which I don't know 100% I believe that one, but still he says it. So who am I? No beef, Elon. No beef. No beef. No beef. He says
Dana was escalating this on the phone call?
I think so 100% because they're closer. So like Elon is much older than Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg's like 39, 40, something like that. And Elon is like, Elon has like 15 or 20 years on Zuck. Like Elon's much older than Zuck. But size-wise, they're not nearly as different as I thought they were. I thought Elon was a much bigger guy than Zuckerberg. Elon's considerably taller. It says Zuckerberg's 5'7" and Elon's 5'11", which Zuckerberg's way shorter than I thought he was.
Yeah, he seems like a tall, lanky dude.
Right, but this says that Zuck weighs 146 and Elon weighs 160, which if that's true, Elon doesn't look like 160. Elon looks like he's got a little more heft to him than that. So
what's the source on that though?
I think I just saw a graphic. I don't know where I saw it.
But who told him 160?
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm waiting for the weigh in on that. I think that this might be an exhibition where we're not so worried about weight classes. You know what Zuckerberg said the only rule was?
There are no rules.
No, Zuckerberg said the only rule was in this fight, we're going to do it meta style, which means no legs. Huh?
No kicks. Okay. All right.
You see, a little joke?
All right.
Meta, because they have no legs in meta. It's VR, no legs.
I got a little chuckle.
Okay, because I wrote it. That's a joke I wrote. Apparently, casinos are already talking about opening betting pools on this. It says that there's no date. Obviously, he doesn't know if this will happen this year. He doesn't know if it'll happen next year. He doesn't know. Has to. I mean,
well, I guess Elon has to open up a camp now, right?
Certainly. Look, here's the thing. You got to realize too.
Train him.
People, I forgot about that. Yeah, Rogan would train Elon instead of Zuckerberg.
Of course he would.
I mean,
he's absolutely going to
Well, don't forget, Zuck has been on Rogan too, but you're right. I mean, I think Elon's got the friendship, which is going to be a huge upside. But I'm sure Zuckerberg can find himself a trainer. He's got a lot of cash. I don't know if you heard about that.
They both have unlimited funds. They can get the top
That's right.
MMA camps, yeah.
That's right. But I think that this is most people, I think, realize that this is probably not going to happen. Like, we're just having fun with it.
No, don't say that.
But I think it's more possible than people realize. I think we have some hope here. Don't give up hope, Hot Dog. I think there is honestly some hope here. When you look at it, these are two guys that understand the tech industry, right? And both of them have to be acutely aware of what gimmick boxing did for YouTubers. Like, KSI, – Logan Paul, Jake Paul, like gimmick boxing made those guys household names. Like, gimmick boxing was what took those people who were famous on social media and made them famous on another level. We don't have Prime. We don't have all that stuff if Logan Paul and KSI are not doing gimmick boxing first. The fact that they sold out the Staples Center with this, I mean, Creator Clash just had an event recently. This is a big thing. So it's proven that even with non-professionals, this is a big deal. Here's the other thing.
Starts with gimmick boxing, ends with Money in the Bank.
He's getting that. You trust me when I tell you, you'll be turning on Impulsive and you're going to see a bright green briefcase full of Mark tears.
With Prime logo on it.
Yeah, a Prime sticker is going right on it. LA Knight's not winning that briefcase, bro. Everybody's got to just understand that that's not happening and deal with it now so that they don't get disappointed later because he's not winning.
People are amping themselves up.
It's not, I promise you it's not happening. It's not happening. Damian Priest before LA Knight. It's not happening. So anyway, wait till Monday for that. So anyway, the other thing is, not only has this in the past put people up on such a pedestal, but what is it that Elon and Zuckerberg do? They run giant media companies. Do you have any idea the eyeballs this will get on? This is what the move is, because people go, they don't need the money, and they don't need the money. But what if I told you that Twitter and Facebook could have access to the most viewed fight in the history of fights? What if Twitter and Facebook both figured, wait a minute, we could monetize by putting on pay-per-view events? Who goes to a pay-per-view provider anymore? What if I told you that the next big super fight, Jake Paul, could happen on Twitter, and Twitter users could pay $40, $50, $80 to get a fight on? What if I told you, Dana White, that UFC could sign a deal with Facebook so that you pay your $80 and you watch UFC 281 on Facebook? Well, how are you guys going to prove to me that these platforms can exist on that level? Well, as CEOs, we just happen to have access to the biggest fight that anyone's ever going to want to watch. And we could say to our customers, if you'd like to see Elon Musk versus Mark Zuckerberg in a cage, and I know goddamn well you do, you could either buy it on Facebook or buy it on Twitter. We're good either way.
So you think there's zero chance that this is going to be pay-per-view? You think this is going to be their concept for how it goes?
I think that that's what ends up happening. I'm not saying zero chances on pay-per-view is possible, but like, why would you put it on pay-per-view? If you're a media, if you're a CEO of a media company and you're trying to take it to the next level, and people don't quite know what the future of Twitter is, and people don't quite know what the future of Facebook is, why would you give that to somebody else? Elon is already on Twitter going, by the way, if you have verified blue, you can put on 2-hour-long videos. By the way, Tucker Carlson, Twitter might be a good place for your show. Facebook is over here doing the same thing with their videos. No, don't broadcast on Twitch, broadcast on Facebook. Well, what if you could do the biggest fight that anybody's ever seen and get people to pay to watch it either on Twitter or Facebook? Do it on both platforms because it's both CEOs.
You got to get them servers up.
Come on. You do have to get servers up because you can't crash. That's the thing. You can't crash. Although it would be great if they sabotage each other. So like Elon screws with Facebook stuff. So Facebook crashes, but Twitter doesn't. And then Twitter becomes the king. That would be awesome. But that's how everybody wins. You got to think on these levels, Hot Dog. You got to come with me on this. You got to get the...
I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's a good idea, isn't it?
It's a great idea.
Come on.
And it's definitely, I mean, I would say it's definitely one of the, it would beat any box office records when it comes to fights, because this is something where I'm already like, I'll throw $100 just to watch this. Just
100%.
to watch that one fight. I could be 5 minutes. I will throw money. I will be there.
And what if you had the technology to GIF it as the fight was going? Because it's on Twitter.
Ooh.
Because it's on Twitter.
You got to sprinkle in some cool shit.
Right?
Yeah. Can
Can you imagine live tweeting an event that's on Twitter? Come on, dude. Can you imagine the
People already do that. So if you can just have that.
Right
And
there.
just put it there.
And you're just
yeah.
tweeting the Facebook chat that would be going in the comment section of this video on Facebook. It'd be so lit.
You watch your premium live events, you're live tweeting. Everyone's live tweeting when there's an event going on or it's a TV show or whatever.
And they go like this. It's a great dual screen experience. What if I told you it could happen on a single screen? Oh, shit.
What? And you can see, here's the next thing. Okay, we're pitching this. We should, I don't know why we're throwing this here, because now someone did it. All right, so you have it on the one screen. I'm with you, Sam. And you can live tweet. But it's also like Instagram live, where like maybe you don't want to see a million comments coming through, but you see your friends' comments, people that you follow.
Exactly.
The event.
Exactly. You see your
now
follow.
It's a communal thing.
Boom. See? That's why you got to super chat me, guys, because they don't put me in the room of geniuses, even though that's where I belong. And you know that if I get put in the room with the geniuses, I'm bringing my man's hot dog with me.
I'll have some idea. I could sprinkle. That's what I do. You come with the idea.
Yep.
I'll sprinkle something else.
And every now and then I'd feed him a bad idea that he could pitch just so I could laugh.
To sabotage, you embarrass me in front of Elon.
It'd be great. I'd be like, got you again. You'd be like, all right, yeah, you got me. You see, like this would do box office. It would be like the reverse of the Flash.
Oh.
This is actually a picture of the Flash looking at Box Office Mojo.
As the numbers coming in.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean they're stopping? No, the numbers can't stop. This was the Flash's face when he realized that the weekend total was not just the Friday total.
That's Ezra Miller's face when he saw that people were not going to forgive him
of
all his crimes.
No, but I got Michael Keaton. No. The Flash has failed. Unfortunately, last weekend was opening weekend for The Flash. It's so funny, too, because I guess clearly I wasn't that excited about it. I got excited when I saw the trailer. We talked about it here on the show. Michael Keaton was in it. There was no chance I was ever going to see this movie, right? And a lot of people were with me. The Flash.
Maybe if people said it was as good as it was being hyped and was going to forgive people's crimes, you maybe would have seen it. Maybe.
James Gunn said, and James Gunn doesn't want me making comments like this because James Gunn is going to fall out of. You can't. James Gunn is so loved that he came for The Rock and he won. But guess what? If he keeps putting stuff on like this, we're going right back to Dwayne Johnson and going, you were right. Right, because let me tell you something. Right now, DJ is at home watching some reruns of Ballers, thinking to himself, this fucking rules. Look what's happening to James Gunn. Look at his move. Oh, this is what you wanted? Oh, this is what you wanted on the screen, huh? Not my man Henry Cavill. So The Flash does $55 million in its first weekend. A lot of you might say, $55 million. That sounds like a lot of money. That could get me 100 trips to the Titanic, sure. 200 trips to the Titanic, sure. Black Adam. Everybody talks about that as The Rock's failure, right?
Rock bottom.
You know what Black Adam did in its opening weekend?
How much?
67 million.
That's more.
There you go.
That's
there you go. There you go. 67 million. Here's the problem. $55 million opening weekend, $200 million budget. No. No.
They're not getting that money back.
James Gunn said, you got to understand, this is one of the greatest superhero movies ever, he said. You know what everybody else said? They went like this. I mean, it wasn't bad. That was this is the review that I heard. It wasn't bad. You're like, oh, that wasn't.
You turn your brain. Yeah.
That wasn't what it was. It was supposed to be like excellent. No, I mean, it's not bad. Oh. Well, then I guess I'll just wait until it's streaming.
One of the greatest superhero movies, if not the greatest of all time. You guys are going to be blown away.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise went to bat for this movie. Did you know that?
They didn't get Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise went to bat. There were articles saying that Tom Cruise saw a screening of The Flash and he called up the director to tell him how much he loved it. Stephen King went to bat for it.
Yeah, well, guess what? Stephen King went to bat for it. Stephen King also thought that the Stanley Kubrick's version of The Shining was not as good as his books. Stephen King is a psychopath, okay?
He's disconnected when it comes to cinema.
Yeah, he has no idea. Stephen King is one of the great authors, but in terms of, he's got the worst taste in cinema ever. Have you ever seen a Stephen King adaptation of one of his own books? They're terrible. He cast the guy from Wings in the Jack Nicholson role in The Shining. The guy from Wings, Steven Weber. Kubrick was like Jack Nicholson. Stephen King said Steven Weber. Come on.
He said, this is the essence of The Shining. This is the true.
And they said the guy from Wings? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel I'm annoyed. I was annoyed leaving that theater.
You saw it. You saw The Flash.
Yeah, I was annoyed 20 minutes in.
Oh no, don't.
Because I already knew. I've seen Ezra Miller in Justice League, but him being the leading role and him having two characters that he plays, you know, having that little split screen talk back to back, I was like, if he can't carry a movie, this isn't what it has to really turn around.
Here's the thing. Number one, people went like, I mean, Ezra Miller is cooked. Ezra Miller.
Done. He is done.
He's done. And they went like this. We have to understand Ezra Miller couldn't do press for it. Do you have any idea how much worse this box office would be if Ezra Miller had done press for it? He'd be like, man, I loved making The Flash. In between starting my cult, doing the scenes for this movie was amazing. Wait, in between your, what was the thing that you said? No, when I was throwing that stool at that woman in Hawaii, I was like, man, The Flash rules. When you were what?
Yeah, I don't understand PR blaming that.
No, there's no.
They just had Michael Keaton going around, and if you can get Michael Keaton to do your press run,
he's so much better, so much better, so much better.
Even for any movie he's not in, you can get Michael Keaton. I would just have him do the press run.
I figured out what the problem is here. I know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel did the cinematic superhero world a grave disservice by convincing them that anyone wants to see movies for superheroes that nobody cares about. Marvel made it seem like you could just do a movie about any superhero and people would want to go see it. Go back in time. Go back to school. Go back to when you first found superheroes. Who the fuck's favorite superhero was The Flash? No one liked The Flash. But Marvel goes like this. Marvel figured out this dumb superhero formula so well that they did 2 Doctor Strange movies. They did 2 Ant-Man movies. So DC's over here seeing Ant-Man and Doctor Strange are doing box office. But what they don't realize is Marvel created a superhero formula for phase 3 or whatever phase they were in, where you could just plug and play any superhero. You put them into that formula, you make them quirky, and you're good. People are going to go see it. It's just where we're at in life right now. DC didn't have the formula, so they go, oh, we could do movies about Black Adam. We could do movies about Shazam. We could do movies about The Flash. No one ever heard of Black Adam. Nobody has ever cared about Shazam. And nobody cares about The Flash. When people go, why didn't these movies do better? Oh, maybe it was Zachary Levi's politics? No, it was because no one cares about Shazam. No one.
I might be completely off on this, but I think it did start with Marvel's first movie. And I know this is a big character, but when I first heard that they were doing an Iron Man movie, I was like, who?
No, hot dog. You know I would roast you if I disagreed with you, but you are 100% right. Iron Man was not that guy when Iron Man came out. No, but Robert Downey Jr. was. Tony Stark was cool. Tony Stark was quirky because that's the beginning of the formula, right? Spider-Man, Batman. Okay, they couldn't even do a good movie about Superman. But, you know, Spider-Man kind of surprised people. They were like, oh, people actually like this Spider-Man movie. And Spider-Man's one of the most famous superheroes ever. Mm-hmm. Iron Man comes out. And they got Tony Stark, and he's all quirky, and he has a devil-may-care attitude.
And it's Robert Downey Jr. on the downhill.
On the downhill, but ready to come back up. People were
Right.
ready for him to make the comeback. See, not like Ezra Miller. Nobody's sitting here going like, "Man, can't wait for that big Ezra Miller comeback." Nobody's doing that.
No.
So they're ready for the Robert Downey Jr. comeback anyway. He kills it in this movie. They establish the formula. Gwyneth Paltrow, Shakespeare in Love. Everybody still loves Goop, and boom, there you go. And then they make every other movie. Captain America, it's the same formula. Ant-Man, same formula. Doctor Strange, it's the same movie over and over and over again. If you watch the first 10 years of Marvel movies after Iron Man, it's the same movie over and over again. The only difference is Terrence Howard isn't in them.
And then the biggest leap, I think, even bigger than Iron Man, was Guardians of the Galaxy. That was the movie that made people go, "Oh, we can just pluck any obscure character
Guardians of the Galaxy
and make money."
Guardians of the Galaxy was so wild that they were like, "What if we got James Gunn and just let him have the whole genre?" And it's like, this isn't a thing that happens. Like, you're not just supposed to take a guy and go like, "You're in charge of the genre." But they did. They were like, "Well, if you could make Guardians of the Galaxy work, you could make anything work." And Ezra Miller was like, "Hold my beer."
Weren't there rumors that WWE was kind of making light of Batista being in Guardians of the Galaxy and kind of being like, "Oh, you'll come back"?
I'll bet they were. Oh, you're leaving us to do Guardians of the Galaxy? Is that even a comic book? Who ever heard of that? And then he was like, "Yeah, except here's the thing you don't know. I'm the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time, and me and Bradley Cooper are putting this thing on our back. Come along, Chris Pratt. The three of us got this." And they did have it, by the way. Those are good movies.
Now, fast forward to 2023, 2022.
They think anybody can do it.
We got a Morbius movie.
Morbius was very good.
What was your favorite part of Morbius?
When he like took off his belt buckle and he went, "It's Morbin time."
Oh yeah, me too.
I love that part. And he like turned into a vampire or whatever. It was great. Yeah,
You
dude.
need to watch. What is the name? There's like another Spider-Man villain. He's like a hunter, and he has like an accent. You know what I'm talking about?
It's
Is
not
it
Craven?
Craven. Did you see? There's the Craven trailer dropped this week.
No.
Yep. And people are saying Morbius 2, baby.
Craven's the villain in the Spider-Man 2 video game. He's getting his own movie?
It is a god-awful trailer. And this isn't MCU, Craven. This is the same. This is Sony. This is the
Oh,
same.
no.
Morbius game.
So this is outside the MCU.
Yes, this is the same universe as Morbius. They're connected. So this is going to be mwah. When you have time, watch the trailer. It's
I will.
amazing.
I absolutely will. I can't wait to see it. I love what's been happening. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. We got Squid Game 2, the cast of Squid Game 2. You know what they're calling Squid Game 2? Squid Game 2, no girls allowed. They announced, they just made a cast announcement. They haven't said who's when's it coming out. There's no release date. I think it's supposed to, they said it might start filming like next month. They haven't even started filming it, but they just announced, I think these guys are the guys that are coming back, and these guys are the guys that are in it. And then everybody was like mad. They were like, "There's no women in this?" And they're like, "No, we just haven't announced it yet. Give us a second. Give us a minute." But
I hope they don't jump the shark.
it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
I hope they don't either. I might give it a rewatch because, man, that series is good. But yeah, I hope it turns out okay. Hey, speaking of turning out okay, you know there's only one rule here on Sam Roberts. Now, this is a wild place. We've only got one rule, and that rule is every super chat gets acknowledged. If you've been sitting here watching the show, it says it's the same studio that ruined Venom. That was the Tom Hardy Venom movie. By the way, Sony ruined Venom twice because Venom was terrible in Spider-Man 3 too. When Topher Grace played Venom.
Well, so like there's the MCU and then there's the Sony cinematic universe of MCU.
I love the Sony one.
The Sony one is the best one because it's Venom, it's Morbius, and it's now, what is it? Did you say Craven?
Craven.
What's his name?
Craven,
Yeah.
Wes Craven. So they go,
So
yeah.
they're building up for the Sinister Six is what they're doing.
Oh, yes. Because like Spider-Man 1 is amazing. Spider-Man 2 rules. Spider-Man 3 is terrible, and then everything's terrible.
Yes. So it's gonna be a bunch. It's gonna be a bunch of shitty Super Spider-Man villains, and they're building it up as a Sinister Six with Morbius, Venom, and all these characters. And I cannot wait. It's gonna be so bad.
And you know me, you know that's gonna be my universe.
The Sony universe.
100%. I'm gonna be all about the Sinister Six because they pin themselves into the corner. They're like, these are all gonna lose money. Do we really have to do all 6? And they're like, well, we can't just do 4 of them. Like,
and they can't even have Spider-Man.
Why would anybody go like, we should make a Craven movie? Nobody even likes Craven. It's the worst. All right. Every super chat gets acknowledged here on Sam Roberts Now. You want to contribute? Jump in. Well, I see. Res Life says Sam wishes he could talk NJPW. Here? I mean, I don't know how many people here. I don't know what the crossover audience is between Sam Roberts Now and Forbidden Door, but
raise your hands.
Yeah. Let's see. Matthew Gold, WWE needs in on Elon and Mark to put them on WrestleMania 40. I mean, I would love it, but they're going to want exclusivity on it, I think. I just love seeing all these quote-unquote legitimate combat sports become wrestling. Boxing, MMA, it's all professional wrestling.
It's the battle of the billionaires, too.
I know. Like, Hot Dog and we were on it from the beginning. We were like, nah, it's wrestling. And then everybody's like, no, this is the real stuff. And then it just becomes wrestling because wrestling's better than any of it.
They should raise the ante. The loser shaves their head like McMahon.
100%. It's gotta be hair versus hair. Gotta be hair versus hair. Or bra and panties. Six Crow, always appreciate the contribution, my friend. You're a good dude. Not Sam Miguel. Hot Dog, tell D-Bag his wedding present was on the Titanic Sub.
Sorry, bro.
D-Bag already asking for that wedding present, huh?
I let him know the policy.
A year.
Yeah.
How did Miguel know that? Did we say that on the air?
Yeah, you guys actually read or you guys guessed some text messages. I wouldn't say you guys read, but you guys were very accurate in your prediction.
Jim just started reading out loud. Oh, I love it. Travis Hightower, Jamie Lee Curtis in the hotel room was too hot. Yeah, too hot. Poodlerific. Is Hot Dog in the tin can submersible? Why is the sound so bad? You do sound like you're being picked up by Navy sonar.
Yeah, I broke my microphone arm, so I had to get a new one replaced or a little stand. So I'll have it fixed by next week.
Jeffrey Townsend, Sam needs some money, people. Oh, thank you for the money. I do need money.
Thank you.
I got kids, bro. Hot Dog's one of my children.
Young boy.
Pinky Schultz, evening, boys. Thank you for your service. Appreciate you, Pinky, very much. John McGrath, my favorite movie is Big Trouble in Little China. Your thoughts? That's a fantastic movie. I don't know if it's my favorite movie of all time, but if you sit here and tell me that's your favorite movie, I'm not going to criticize you. That movie rules. You ever seen that movie, Hot Dog?
No.
It's great. Zetar. Hey, Sam, love the show. Appreciate you, buddy. Not Sam Lehman. Sam, if you were on Creator Clash, who would you like to box? If I was on Creator Clash, I'll go.
And don't pick two above your weight class.
Oh,
like,
shit.
We want you to look strong.
Oh, I thought you meant clout-wise. Okay, no, somebody that size up with. Okay, because I want, I know who. CoffeeZilla, I'm calling you out, CoffeeZilla.
Ooh.
Me and you, CoffeeZilla, one-on-one. Sam Roberts Now. Over 200 people watching, okay? Me and you, CoffeeZilla. One-on-one.
Simulcast.
Yeah, we'll put on both our channels to keep it fair. In the cage, in the ring, however you want to do it. Because I'm going to expose you. I'm going to expose you for being a punk.
And we'll split down the revenue 50-50.
50-50 rev, because we'll both bring our subscribers in. You'll gain from me, I'll gain from you. It'll be fair across the board. That's a good promo, though, right? I'm going to expose you. I'm going to expose you for being a punk.
That's great.
Yeah. I'll tell you what the financial scam is. anybody that pays you for anything.
Ooh, pipe bomb. Take the Notsam thing off the mic flag.
Oh,
off,
yeah, I
so
will.
Everyone knows you're serious.
Yeah, so that way they know. Oh, he took the AEW mic flag off. Oh, he's shooting. Yeah. CoffeeZilla, I'm calling you out. Say the date. Say the date, CoffeeZilla. We could be on the undercard. I'll talk to Dana too. What about that undercard? Dana versus Dana. Listen to me. Main event. I'm fine being or I'll be an undercard. I'll be undercard. I wouldn't even be called main event. Okay. I'll curtain
Hopefully
jerk.
he pays you. Hopefully he pays you more than he pays his fighters.
This would have to be co-promoted. Yeah, of course. Main event is Elon versus Mark Zuckerberg. On the undercard, YouTube stars battle it out for supremacy of the platform. Sam Roberts of Sam Roberts Now versus CoffeeZilla. And we'll both bring our fans.
I could be in your corner.
That would be great. You want to see my whole entire entourage?
There it is.
That's right.
I'll be waving like this at CoffeeZilla. Big fan.
That's right. And you'll be on a monitor on a stand. You'll be on Zoom.
Just trying to throw the flag in. I mean, the flag, the towel.
Yeah. I don't just hit the... People are asking for Sam versus Blair White. People are asking for Sam versus Robin Quivers. I think, there's a lot of possibilities, but no, I think it's me versus CoffeeZilla. Over here, yeah, Matthew Gold says Jake Paul versus Mr. Beast. Wouldn't that be great? It's Elon versus Zuck, Jake Paul versus Mr. Beast, Sam Roberts Now versus CoffeeZilla. I think that makes sense to me. That all kind of feels right.
I feel like Mr. Beast doesn't. No, Mr. Beast doesn't feel right. I feel like Jake Paul needs maybe like someone with more energy to bounce off of, and maybe like a Andrew Schultz kind of guy. I feel like he would pummel Mr. Beast.
How about Jake Paul versus Akash?
There we go.
Okay. Jake Paul versus Akash. I'll pay for it. I'll pay to see it. Oh, man. And then Notsam Miguel says D-Bag versus Hot Dog.
Pummeling.
Boom. Guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Clips from the show go up throughout the week as their own videos. It's all good. You got 5 styluses. You might as well use them. I'm going to cheers with you later.